up until several years ago, they thought the giant squid out of Japan, off the coast of Japan, was, giant squid was a cryptid. It was mythological. Over time had reported these creatures, that can engulf ships and the Kraken and things like that. And,
watching that thing disappear.
Yes.
It was almost like a straight line. It was like it went behind a straight line and it was gone. Just completely gone.
And it did. It was like it slipped into it went into a house or something. It just all of a sudden it just went
and like it went behind a wall.
Like it went behind a wall. That's where people start to ask the question, is it possible that there are some sort, and I know this is a stretch, but is it possible that they could be going into some sort of a portal or interdimensional being that can move into, thank you very much, Vesta, stepping into another place, for lack of a better word?
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to JFree906 podcast and the Bigfoot series for Beyond Our World. Mike Owen, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I finally got relocated. I've been traveling all over the place. I was down in Florida, then I was out in Texas, and then around, and then I'm up in the Michigan. And you know what? I'm finding I got to get a hold of a Bigfoot research group up here. Because even though I'm from Michigan, I never really realized that this is a place where there have been many sightings of Bigfoot over the years. And so now now that I'm here and I'm going to be here for a little while, I've got to get out and do some work. So
you've got a big rabbit hole to go down now.
Yes, I do.
A really big rabbit hole.
Yeah, I do. That's for sure. And you've just you were out skiing in the big mountains and the deep powder snow and everything. How was that?
Out in Utah. That was fantastic. Utah is a absolutely beautiful state. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is.
So, but we're glad to be back now and have no snow and have some sun, and it's good.
Yeah. So you didn't see Yeti while you were out there on the mountains?
No. My kids accused me of potentially being identified as Sasquatch. They always think I'm not very tall, but I'm hairy, apparently. I don't know why that qualifies me as being Bigfoot. That's
you have big feet, though. There you go. I don't know.
Not even that. No one's yet hunted me for my pelt, so I think I'm safe.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, we're going to get started here. We have a couple of very special guests here tonight that we're going to bring up. But before we get to them, I just wanted to also do a little housekeeping and just say that, if you would click on that subscribe button for us if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell, because that notification bell will tell you when we come out with new content, whether I go live or I bring up a video or something like that, when I find something interesting to share. So do that. And if you like the content of our show, give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate that very much. Also, if you want to help support the show, we do have a Patreon channel. It's patreon.com. Patreon, and it's JFree906 out there. Or you can buy one of these really cool travel mugs or tumblers. Oh, look, there's Mike's. He's got his. You can get one of these. There is a link for them down below in the description. You can click on that. It takes you right out to Jess Grolo's site, which is blue6laser.com. You can pick one up there. They're $25, and she will get that out there and get it sent to you and all of that kind of stuff. And it's, like I said, it's to help support the show so we can be able to bring this stuff to you. So, all right. With all that said, we have a couple of researchers here tonight that have their own Facebook group and also their own YouTube channel. It is Tim T and Waynette. They've been doing research for Bigfoot for quite a while. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring them up right now. Tim and Waynette, how are you doing tonight?
Good. Hi, everyone.
Yep. Hello, everybody.
I tell you what. Yeah, Tim, I got talking to you when I was in Florida, and you and I kind of went over and talked. We were trying to get hooked up so you could take me in the field and do a little bit of research down there, but we just couldn't get it coordinated for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And I swear it's going to happen this year when I get back down to Florida. I got to go out with you guys. I really do. And that's something that I've talked about on this show with Bigfoot. I have been on the fence with Bigfoot for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. And but I'm using this platform to research. And also, and by doing so, I want to meet people, hear their experiences, and then also go out in the field. Now we have Mike Owen here, who's an encyclopedia of information about cryptids and Bigfoot. And believe me, he has taught me so much. But
I'm
that's
trying.
what I'm doing. Yeah, you're trying. I know. I'm a hard sell, but I'd say it's hard. But that's exactly what I'm doing. And that's why I really wanted to get out there in the field with you two, because I know you've been doing this. And so let's start off by asking that question. How did you get involved in Bigfoot research? I mean, was it something that happened to you that made you want to get started? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I'll because just over 3 years ago, I was watching some of the TV shows about Bigfoot, and they would never really show anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to looking around online to see if anybody in Florida was showing anything, like on YouTube. So I was searching around on some of that, and I actually found a couple of people that were actually showing some. At first, when I was one of them, Mark Zasky, I was looking at some of his stuff, and I just turned it off, and I said, that's not real. And I kept thinking about it, and I said, I got to give that another chance. So I looked at it again, and then I really started seeing what he was showing was real. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to get my hunting experience, and I'm going to go out there in our areas and really start looking. Because like being a hunter, you're looking for animal tracks, animal footprints. Right. If you see a foot when you're hunting, you're thinking it's right. So you really don't pay attention to it. So I got out there and looking, and third time out, I found a good trackway, some really good footprints, and I made a forecast. I made forecasts of them, and ever since then, that same area, I've been finding tree structures, and going back and finding more footprints, and things like that. And I was gifted a deer skull, a nice 8-point buck. I was gifted to it right there. Yeah, and I started putting game cameras out. Started catching a lot of orbs. And I got photos. I've got photos on here of some of this stuff too that we can show.
Yeah, we'll definitely jump into those here in just a little bit. Man, that's pretty interesting. So you didn't have like a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have a lot going on in that one area that kept taking me back. And within a 2-year period, where I was at first finding 6-inch footprints and 9-inch footprints, within a 2-year period, I'm growing 7-inch footprints and 14-inch footprints. Wow. Staying in that area. Yeah. So we have we have several areas in the Green Swamp here where we're at that we go into regularly, and we've been finding footprints. I can hear them moving around. A lot of times I can feel them watching us, and I can kind of zoom in on them where they're at, pinpoint where they're at, and I can hear them moving around. I can hear the birds sounding off alarms, things like that.
Yeah. That was something that I experienced when I was out, and I did go out with a group when I was down there. And that was one of the things that I experienced was the birds. Yeah. Alert. I mean, it was just, and we talked about this quite a bit. And Mike actually went through and did some analysis of the sounds, because there was barred owls as well as a bird of prey. And I don't remember exactly what type of bird of prey it was. And then, of course, the crows. Yeah. But it was this constant cacophony of birds going nuts in this area. And it all caught us all by surprise. And so So that happens to you too down there, I take.
It does, yes, quite often, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also, when he decided he wanted to start doing the research, I was right on board with him, because when I was in the mid-70s, about 13, I just lived right around the block from where we live at now, but we lived in a mobile home.
Right.
And we were up late one night, like it was me and my mom and my sister, and we were playing games or something. And so it was a single wide mobile home, but I forget what we were doing at that time, but I know we were in the kitchen, but we felt and heard like heavy It sounded like something heavy. Boom! It was jarring the trailer a little bit.
Wow.
We would walk to one end of the trailer, and it would go. We would go to the other end. It would go that way,
following
us.
Yeah.
And this would say maybe 10 minutes. And my mom, she got the shock, and then the back, and then it quit. I mean, it lasted about 10 minutes, but whatever it was, and we lived like right in the middle of an orange grove at this time too. The orange grove wasn't here anymore. So, and so when he wanted to, get on board and do research, I was with him too. It was crazy.
Wow. Yeah. So did you actually see it, or just the sounds and all that? It was all. Did you actually see anything?
I didn't see anything, but other people have. I had a brother that saw something out there.
Two of her brothers.
Two of them
saw it. Yeah.
One of them. They was just like out there in the grove, like joyriding in a car. Him and his friend. They stopped probably to make a pit stop or something, and he said that they looked in the rearview mirror and they saw something big, tall, standing there. It was at nighttime, and then the car started bouncing. Well, needless to say, he punched it and they got the heck out of here. And I had another brother that, like I said, the orange grove was right there. He went outside, and the orange groves were maybe 7 foot tall.
Yeah, 6 or 7 foot tall.
But he said there was something. He looked over there. There was something standing there that was taller than those orange trees, and
you see its head up over the orange trees. Yeah.
But there were other encounters too that he remembers that that we haven't discussed with him, but he remembers other people talking about activity out there as well. So,
wow, yeah, there's Linda. There's one of our regulars, and she's actually experienced that, felt those footsteps as well. That's something that I haven't in my experience, but then again. Look, there's somebody popping in here that's you might know who that is.
Hi.
Yeah,
we know.
Yeah, some of our friends. We work with quite a few different people, and this is one of our friends that we go out with sometimes and work with. Just like we did, we worked with Bigfoot for a while. ISR, some other people like that, Central Florida Bigfoot. We worked with quite a few different people.
Yeah.
That's great. You know what? And that's a perfect thing to do, because you want to share that research. That's what I'm doing here. And again, I know I said this at the beginning, but that's exactly why I'm doing this podcast. Is I'm gathering information from all of you and telling your experiences and your stories, like you just did, Waynette. I mean, that had to be. How old were you at that time again? I know you mentioned
I would say 13. I would, and that was like.
So, that had to be very traumatic for you at that time.
Yes, that would have been like 75, 76. Yes, it was. We were scared because we weren't even thinking about Bigfoot or whatever. We just kind of, I guess after it happened, I think we just kind of shrugged it off. But that's something you don't forget.
No, that's not going to be. Yeah, you're not going to forget something that's that traumatic in your lifetime for sure.
No.
Wow. So, and that was the thing, that when I went down to Florida, it was kind of like being here in Michigan, and I never really thought about, Bigfoot being here at all. I always thought, Pacific Northwest, it's all up in the Pacific Northwest. That's where Bigfoot is, in the big forest up there. But then I come down to Florida, and again, I met a few people and talking to a few people down there, and it was like all of a sudden I'm finding out, and now down there it's called skunkape, right? It's not, or is it still both?
Well, actually, we have both here in Central Florida, where we're at in the Green Swamp area. We have the skunkape and the Bigfoot. Whereas if you go more towards the coast, like in Pasco County, we're finding skunkape in Pasco County.
And how do you differentiate between them?
Yeah, one of them, the footprints. We're finding four-toe footprints in Pasco County, where we're finding the 5-toe Bigfoot footprints here where we're at.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Okay. And then some where we're at here is the 4-toe, and also some of the pictures I'm getting of them on my video is you can tell a little bit of a difference in them.
Right. Wow. Oh, and I wanted to remind everybody too. Now Tim T and and Waynette, they have a YouTube channel and also a Facebook page. I do have the links for them down in the description below, so you can check that out. You really should. If you're interested in this cryptid at all, you really should check this out, because this is a gathering place where they bring all, and you guys have a lot of members that also bring their pictures and experiences and things on board. So, really check those out. But anyway, their links are down below. Check out, he's got, like, I'm looking at your YouTube channel now, and you've got, like, I know it's not all Bigfoot. There's some other stuff. It looks like you guys were fishing and stuff too.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, you got like 680 videos out there. So that's, check that out. But yeah, I'm going to be going through
Bigfoot.
Yeah, mostly Bigfoot. Yeah. We do some saltwater fishing and freshwater fishing and stuff like that. Yeah. We'll hike the river and fish, and go while we're fishing. And like one spot, we had them coming to the other side of the river. You could hear them coming. You could hear them snapping branches. They do something, and while we're fishing, we're filming the river.
So,
you guys are breaking up just a little bit on your internet there, so we're getting most of it. But I was getting, and I wasn't sure if it was on my end or are you getting the same thing, Mike?
Yeah, we are. Same thing. Okay, we're getting the same thing too. Yeah.
All right. So so we have I just wanted to share it real quick. So there's their YouTube channel. It's Tim T in Florida, and like I said, the link is down below. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here, so check that out, folks, if you really want to get some more information, or their YouTube channel as well, so, or Facebook page as well. So all right, so you guys have some pictures. Do you want to show some of these pictures and take us through this a little bit?
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to bring up the first one here, and then as we do, like I said, you probably won't be able to, I don't know, we'll see if you want to move through them. There we go. I got the first one up now.
Okay.
So swampy, very swampy. Now, is that called the cypress trees? Is that what those are?
Yes, cypress trees. Yes.
Now, where is this at? Is this at that swamp you were talking about earlier?
This is in the Green Swamp, Central Florida.
Okay.
I don't know if I can scroll through them or not.
Yeah, you'll have to pull the picture up on your screen there. So pull it up so it's covering up StreamYard, and you should be able to control it then from that point. So it needs to be your prominent window on your monitor.
Oh yeah.
Okay, change there.
We're still just looking at the first picture of the swamp.
How about now?
Nope, still the same. Yeah, just go ahead and pull it right up on your screen so that it's covering up everything. There you go. That now you should be able.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go. This is that tree structure. It's just a branch sitting there perfectly balanced.
Oh, I see it right there in the top, right in the middle of the screen. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I went up in and it's not touching anything on the end. Just perfectly balanced.
Wow.
And then that was right here close to where I found these footprints.
Okay, now the picture, if you advance,
so stuff like this kept bringing me back, finding these footprints.
Now, if you advance the picture, it didn't change for us. We're still looking at the same one.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, you might have to start that over again, the presentation.
Okay.
And we'll get this sorted out here, folks. He's got some really interesting footprint pictures coming up. He shared a few with me earlier, and they were pretty.
Is it changing?
Pretty crazy. No, it's not changing. Yeah. Nope.
Maybe share just that one picture instead of the whole desktop.
Yep.
Maybe try unsharing and
go ahead and pull it down and then and start over. Yeah, there you go. And then just start picking it and start over. And then just keep it up as your prominent screen picture. So you're watching all of them. You can scroll through them then. You won't be able to see us, but we'll be able to see you and your pictures. Yeah, that's the thing with, you talked about a 4-toed footprint
Yes.
and a 5, and that's something I'm not really that familiar with. Mike, have you heard about that too?
No, that's new to me. The difference in prints like that. I mean, I've heard encounters with skunkape and swamp ape, but a lot of those first person encounters they're not so focused on the prints as they are getting away from it.
Yeah, exactly. Now I did see you share, but it's a pic. I'm looking at a whole bunch of pictures here on a screen.
Okay.
There. Okay, now it's down. Yeah, just bring up your very first one and then share that one again. I know that that's something about the. Okay, there we go. All right, let's bring that one up. And okay, yeah, there we go. Now I see your mouse moving on there, so you should be able to scroll through them. All right. Oh, I see a picture of that now. Okay,
much better.
All right.
Okay, good. Okay.
Now we see a pair of boots, and we're looking at your. It looks like a tape.
So yeah, these are the footprints that are on it first. Yes, yeah, I was measuring the step, the stride, the length of it, the width of the foot.
Can you go back to that other picture real quick and then make that bigger? I want to get a better look at that.
The one with the measuring tape
measure on it, yeah. Yeah. Now, can you make that one a little bigger? Just scroll and see if you can zoom that in for us a little bit.
How's that? Is that moving?
There. Yep. Yes. Yeah, that's working.
Okay.
I mean, that's clearly a barefoot something. I mean, we see toes in that. It looks like the upper. There you go. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, the toes. And also, right, you'll see there's coyotes around. Just as fresh as the footprints. Pretty sure that they have the coyotes traveling with them. We have heard at night times. We've heard some type of yell or a howl, and then the coyotes will start howling. We've heard that a couple of times.
Wow.
So how big is that print actually?
Yeah.
So then here's
how big is that print? It looks like it's about 9 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that average or is that a small one?
That's a small.
Okay.
I'll find anywhere from 6-inch to 18-inch.
Wow.
And usually around between 11-inch to 14-inch is like really common.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple areas where we find like 6-inch footprints, 9-inch, 18-inch. It's like a area reading, and they have the juveniles. And like I said, I found them all the way up to 18 inches around here. And these are all 5s here. These are the Bigfoot.
Wow, it looks like several prints there.
Yeah.
Yes, there is here. This one that I found here, they were 9-inch and 6-inch footprints.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like at least 2 juveniles and 2 were either adults or a little bit older juveniles. They had come out and went like around a swampy area and into some palmettos, and then had come back again the opposite way. So it was like two trackways, one going north and one going south.
Yeah, nobody's going to be walking around in the mud.
No, you're right.
In a place like that. So that's the thing I look at. Nobody's going to be out there barefoot like that, especially with alligators and snakes around. And
right.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see like right here, it's got a mid-tarsal break right there.
Yep. Yeah, I was just going to say that's good heel depression. You can see then the toes kind of slid as it moved forward.
As it pushed off. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. That's good. Shows good motion.
You see them good.
Yeah, like the 6-inch footprint here, and you can see how much they're actually in line. They're not a staggered step like a human.
Yeah,
right,
that's something that Mike and I were talking about.
No straddle.
Yeah.
And then how far apart they are. They're farther apart than I can step.
Yeah, because he always does that.
I'll do a comparison
Yeah.
step, and when I find them like that, and I can't keep both feet flat on the ground when I'm finding a 6-inch footprint. When I try to step from one print to the other, I can't even keep both feet flat on the ground.
Yeah.
You could zoom in on that one.
Yeah, Robot brought up a good point right here. He said that footprint has the toe similar to humans, with a question mark, of course, not like those of an ape. And I think that's correct. It has more like a human foot than it would be an ape foot, correct?
So too, because that's everything I'm finding. I'm not finding any kind of ape footprints out there at all.
Mm-hmm.
And these are some of the casts that I made.
These were on the side.
Well, you broke up there for a second.
One of the trails out there. Look at the little small one. These were all in the same, right?
Yeah, all in the same area. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
How big are those? The bigger ones? How long are those bigger ones?
Those were the 9-inch. These are the 9-inch footprints. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the small one is the 6-inch footprint.
Mm-hmm.
On the bottom is actually a 6-inch footprint that's in the 9-inch footprint. The heels up to the left, and then the.
Hey Jeff, they've got that same field guide.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You gotta,
yeah.
That same one by Meldrum. That's excellent.
Yeah, Meldrum. Yeah. It teaches
I have to get that. I've got to get one of those.
Yeah, I'm on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on Amazon.
Get one of those.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Those are fantastic.
And then here's some of the orbs I got in that same area.
So well defined. That's amazing. Those are so well defined.
They are, yeah.
It didn't move forward for us. I don't know if you need to.
2 game cameras here.
Yeah, we're still looking at the picture with the
cast
footprints. There we go.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
How about
now
now? Okay.
Yeah, now we got the orb. Wow. Where is this in the same area?
This is in the same area. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep. And I caught a lot of orbs through here. And I think they're like that one went to that game camera.
Covered it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think
now this is a game camera that caught these orbs?
I have the game camera that caught these orbs is taking pictures. The game camera that you see on the tree there is taking videos.
Okay.
So the camera taking the pictures caught the orbs.
Okay. So and for a game camera to catch an orb, it has to see that motion, right? It has to pick up the motion.
It has to pick up the motion.
If that orb isn't making enough to make the motion, then that's not your typical piece of dust or something like that. No.
Some of the orbs on the thermal camera too, they're black, giving off heat, showing as a heat signature. I've caught them flying around us. This is an orb during the daytime. We're on the left side.
That's what I was going to ask if that was it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, over on the left. Yeah, during the daytime. It's kind of a white, fluffy looking orb. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like a little ball of cotton floating in
It
there.
does.
Yeah,
it
does.
really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never seen one in the daytime like that.
Mm-hmm. I've only caught a couple during the daytime. And most of them.
Now, was that caught? Was this
standing there for size?
Okay. That orb that you just had in that previous, you broke up there for a second, and I missed part of what you said. But in that previous picture, that the orb that shows up, right there on the left side.
Yeah.
Was that taken with or captured with a trail cam, or was that captured with another camera of yours?
The trail camera. It was captured with the trail camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That is awesome. I've never seen one in the daytime like that. Yeah, Kat said it looks solid.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It looks like it's solid.
It does look solid. Yeah. Also, I have a picture from the same trail camera that has a deer in the background, back in the palmettos, and it has a large orb around it carrying it off.
You have that on here, though, right?
I didn't have time to get the picture on here, but it's on my videos. I have it on my videos on my YouTube.
So was anything on that camera that's in this picture that it's looking at? Was there anything on there?
Well, I had this game camera pointing at the other game camera,
Right.
Because I kept putting out gifts, and the other game camera would not catch anything.
Couldn't get anything.
You would have one video, the gifts would be there, and then the next video, the gifts would be gone.
Oh, wow.
So, that's why I put out the second camera, just taking pictures, trying to see if I could catch something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's me there just for size comparison because of this one right here.
Oh, wow.
So if you look at that, that's a cloaked Bigfoot right there in front of the game camera. You can see
incredible.
The widest part of
Yeah.
Now back up again. Let me see the size of you standing there.
Yeah. Because see, there's me. And
okay, so you're just about you're about the same height as whatever that is.
Pretty close, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Look at that, folks. Isn't that something?
Crazy.
It is, yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's where you're talking about people cloaking. Or not people cloaking, but people talking about the ability for a Bigfoot to cloak.
That's something
again, that's amazing.
That's something that Ron Moorhead and David Pilates was covering too, because NASA's actually admitted that there's portals and they're studying them, and then you got actually physicists that are talking about quantum physics and talking about there's 11 dimensions and probably more. So I mean, all this stuff is already out, and people can research it that it's real.
Now this deer skull that you have here, you said this was gifted to you?
That was gifted to me, yeah.
Now, did you have a gift out you were leaving for the?
Not right here, but right back behind me, there's actually a natural hunting blind where they had pulled some limbs down and it stays alive where they can in water. And actually, we caught one watching it right back there. So the next weekend, after we caught it and I saw it on film, the next weekend we went back in here and I went up in there to where it was standing at, and this was sitting there waiting on me.
Wow.
Yeah, just a few feet from where that was standing, this was sitting there waiting on me. Yeah, and then I started leaving them gifts here too as well in here.
So what kind of gifts do you leave? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Sorry, Mike.
I'll leave apples and I've seen a question in there about oranges. If they eat oranges, they eat the wild oranges. They'll eat them because they're bitter.
Oh,
really?
They're not sweet like the oranges we get. They'll eat the wild oranges. I've found them before where they had pulled all the oranges off that were in reach. And they were all gone. And I've got one in the freezer now that has a human-sized bite taken out of it. Yeah, it's got a
bite taken out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll save that to hopefully get it DNA tested one day.
That's what I was just going to say. That would be a good DNA sample right there.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Would. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's amazing that this thing was gifted to you there.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask the question. When you're out looking at this kind of stuff, and it's one of those things where when I was out in the area I went to in Florida with another team, I was looking on the ground for actual boot prints of people to see if there was other people. Now, I know when we got in their gifting area, yes, there's going to be footprints in the mud that are still there from when they were there the weekend before or 2 weeks before. But I mean, if you go to one of these areas, are you finding other people's footprints around? Like there would be hunters in the area or things like that?
No, we're not finding anybody on game camera in here. We're not finding anybody's boot prints.
Okay. No. That was my question, to see why would this thing be here? Maybe, and I thought, well, maybe just some person left it for you. But if you're not catching anything on a game cam, that kind of rules that out.
It does, yeah, because we've had game cameras up around this area, and the other game cameras that you just saw, we're not catching any people at all. Never, yeah. And I also put an audio recorder in here too, right here where I got this deer skull. I put an audio recorder in there. We haven't caught anybody in there talking, but we do have we have caught some audio. We've caught the howls.
Oh, really?
We caught them speaking a language and then grunting back and forth.
Yes.
you can hear like 3 different individuals grunting back and forth and making knocks and communicating with each other.
It's just like they're talking to each other. You can.
Mm-hmm.
How do those sounds compare to like the Sierra sounds? Are they similar?
The language is similar.
Yeah.
But not the grunts. I haven't heard the grunts in the Sierra sounds.
Okay.
But that's what I would compare it to.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because that's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, the language part does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like somebody speaking like Korean or Asian language is almost like that. Yeah.
Wow. The samurai chatter.
Yeah, the samurai type chatter. Yeah.
Oh wow! Now see, that's new to me. I had not heard that before. Explain, Mike. What's that? What is that all about? The samurai chatter.
It's part of the Moorhead, Ron Moorhead Sierra sounds that he recorded, and it's just a very fast chatter, and it's just the best description of it is, it sounds like one of those old samurai movies when they're fighting and they're talking really fast. It sounds similar to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
interesting.
And if you look it up and listen to it, they had a Navy language specialist research it, and he said the vocals on it go like way out of our vocal range of a human, and he said it's definitely a language.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
And also on my audio recorder right in here, I also caught this, and I got to get it from our friend Desi. She had it actually did audio for me and cut it for me and saved it. But you can hear all the bugs and the birds. All of a sudden, you hear this. It sounds like a Native American woman. She says "Watha" really loud, and everything's dead silent for a couple minutes.
Wow!
And then you hear all the bugs and birds
start back up again.
Birds and stuff come back to make a noise again.
Yeah, that's interesting because people do this.
Sounds like Watha.
Huh. And people have talked about that. We've seen that on Expedition Bigfoot before, where all of a sudden they'll be in a particular area or already be there, and then all of a sudden everything goes dead silent.
Everything goes
all the animal life and everything's just dead silent all of a sudden.
It does, yeah.
Wow. Now, do you have these recordings out on social media somewhere, Facebook or YouTube?
I have all, but the one I just talked about, I don't have it out on there.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna have it out soon because I'm gonna get with Desi and get that put on video. Because I'm fixing to do a video on audio and put all the audio on that one.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, you got to let us know when you do that. I want to be able to tell people too.
People need to hear that.
Yeah, we will.
Is that going to be on your Facebook page? Or
the Facebook group and the YouTube. Yes, I'll put it on both of them. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
I know it's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
But back when I used to hunt a lot, back in 1997, and I didn't know it then, which I know now from doing all the research, but I heard one growl back then, and we were really close to it. We were hog hunting, me and a buddy of mine. It sounded like a tiger growling, and everything went dead silent just like that. Everything went dead silent for a few minutes, and I thought it had killed my hunting dog. And then my hunting dog, after a couple minutes, when all the sound came back, my hunting dog, and we killed the hog. So I think we were running its hunt. I think it was hunting the hog. And when my dog ran up in there where it was at, it growled. And back then, I never would have thought about Bigfoot back then, not in Florida. I always thought it was out in the Northwest Pacific and in the skunkape down in the Everglades with David Shealy.
Wow. That is so neat.
Those growls like that a lot of times have those little growls a lot of times have infrasound and can have a pretty profound effect on things.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
I've been hit with the infrasound a couple of times.
Really? What was it? What did it do to you? How did it explain
and
that?
We use a tri-field mineral checking radio frequency. We get hit a lot with radio frequency, which is like a microwave current that you get around the microwave when you turn your microwave on. Your cell phones when you're connected to internet or the cell phone towers using navigation, you get hit with pretty high radio frequency. And the cell phone towers, if you get close to a cell phone tower, they put out a lot of radio frequency. So when we're out in the woods here, we're not around anything, and a lot a lot of times you don't get good sound with real high radio frequency, even higher than being around a radio tower or the cell phone towers or microwave when there's nothing out there with it like that.
Yeah, somebody asked like Brenda. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I was going to say, Brenda's asking the question, what was your reaction the very first time you heard one of those sounds or a sound of it?
Well, the growl back then, it was in 1997 and I was hunting. So my first reaction, I was trying to figure out what kind of animal here in Florida could make that kind of growl like that.
Right. Not thinking it could have been a Bigfoot.
Because I never would even thought. Yeah. I was thinking, there's no hogs that do that. There's no bobcats or panthers that can do that loud like that. I was just trying to figure it out back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another question here too. This one's from Jan. And Jan asked, have you ever tried playing music for them? What kind of music do you think that they would like?
I haven't. No, I haven't tried anything like that. Now, we have some of our friends like Mike Aguilar. He likes to make some of the sounds. He's been around them and he's heard the sounds.
I've met Mike
himself, yeah.
And he'll do like a soothing, calming sound to him. And that we've actually been being hit one time with the radio frequency, and he did that calming, soothing sound, and the radio frequency stopped.
Yeah, that was me and Mike. We would. Everybody was kind of spread out then, but me and him were standing there, and the meter was going crazy, the tri-field meter, and he just in his calming voice let them know, we're not going to hurt you, we're just here visiting, and it stopped just like that.
Yeah. Wow.
When he said that, it just stopped.
And in his area is where he makes the sounds all the time, and they know it's him. We do it with no radio frequency at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
True.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I met Mike. He's an interesting individual. I was really impressed by how he conducts himself in the field like that, and the amount of stuff. He's got a lot of casts as well.
He does. Yeah.
He definitely has
we've done some together too.
Connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With these.
Yeah. Matter of fact, when we were out there and when about the time that those birds got going, that's what Mike had said, because he was with us that day, and he said something about he was picking up like this, we're not wanted here, we're not supposed to be in this area or something. And I remember him talking about that during that whole episode. Matter of fact, I think it's on my recording. You can hear him talking and saying, I'm not playing. He's like,
yeah, he has a connection to him like I do. Like I can feel him. I can feel him watching this, and it's like a pressure on my head. And he gets the pressure on his ears, and he's been hit really bad with the infrasound a couple of times too. And
made him sick.
I think it made him sick. I think it's made him more where he can sense them, but he can really sense them too when he's out there. And there's been times where he's told me to point my thermal camera in a certain direction, and then we pick up something, we get something on heat signature where they're watching us.
Wow, that's interesting. I've met people who are very, and I'm going to use the word paranormal just because I don't know what else to use for that spot, but very open to paranormal influences. They can pick up on things and feel things, and I've been around these people when it's happening, and it's pretty interesting to see and hear. So Mike and you both must have that.
Yeah, some of us can feel them like that.
Yeah. So we're looking at some different bones here. You've kind of
I've been really good about that and been able to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just flipping through a couple of some skulls that we've been gifted.
This is a hog
gifted
skull.
This one. Yeah, Waynette was gifted this one here.
Oh yeah, you can see the tusk on the front. Wow, that's pretty wild. So when they get all done with it, they bring you a little gift and say, here's something for you. That's crazy.
Yeah, they do.
And this is an area where you go to quite a bit, and it wasn't there before, and all of a sudden you go back and there it is.
And there it is, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you this. How long in this area where you found this, or even the deer head with the antlers?
Yeah.
How long was it since you had been in that area previously? Was it a long period of time? A couple months?
This area here, we were in here a couple of times because we were putting out game cameras.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, not very long. where I found the deer skull on there several times for a couple of months period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is.
To leave you something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yeah. These are 2 of the deer skulls and the hog skull when it was just holding.
There's another question here for you. You know, he's talking about the the Bigfoot poop, basically. Why is there not more? Yeah, cat. Why is there not more Bigfoot scat found? Where they've seen bears, you know, things like that. Why do you think that would be?
I'm not really sure. We've only had like once where we found some that we thought might have been Bigfoot scat, and it might have been from a juvenile. Because I have found bear scat and coyote and panther scat, bobcat scat.
But not Bigfoot. Yeah.
Deer. I find all that kind of scat when we're out there, but not Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah. And 2, I mean, it could have something with them being able to portals and interdimensions.
I know.
It could have something to do with that. Yeah, we don't really know for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you've got some interesting more skulls, and these were all gifted to you.
All gifted to us. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Because even if you were out somewhere in a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks later you go back out there and there's a skull there, you know that didn't get deteriorated that quickly in that short period of time.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, if it had been killed right there,
yeah.
You know, yeah, it's wow.
Yeah, and there's a doe skull right there in the back. You can't see it too good, but that Waynette actually found that. She found the whole deer skeleton, and we inspected it really good.
Carcass, yeah.
The only thing with that doe skeleton was the rib bones were broken. There was no teeth marks, no cuts, no bullet wounds, no knife marks, nothing else on that whole skeleton.
Actually, when we saw this deer carcass,
Waynette actually saw it.
Yeah, I saw it first when we were walking out. When I saw the rib cage, I thought it was a dead palm frond. Honestly, I said, look at that dead palm frond over there. It looks like rib cage. So as we got closer, it was a rib cage.
A doe laying there, yeah.
Oh wow,
crazy.
And that wasn't there the week before. Yeah, and the only thing was the ribs were broken. Yeah, and the legs had been pulled off. The legs had been pulled off. Yeah, and they were laying there too as well.
Now, you mentioned this earlier. Brenda's asking this question here, and I think you mentioned it earlier, but do you think that coyotes are Bigfoot like pet dogs?
Are they working together?
Or working together? Yeah.
I think they work together with the coyotes, yeah. Yeah. I guess like we have pets for dogs for pets, I think they use the coyotes. And they may use them to hunt, or they may just have them as pets.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we've had a couple times at night where we've heard a howl or like a different kind of howl or yell, and then you hear the coyotes go off. I find the coyote footprints a lot around where I'm finding the Bigfoot footprints. So yeah, I think they use the coyotes.
Interesting. Wow. This is more information that I just keep. That's why I love doing this, because it's more information that I'm gathering and learning from people like you being out in the field doing this. This is really interesting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it is really interesting.
It is.
Now, this is a thermal image right here. This is at night where it's totally dark. Me and Mike Aguilar had just seen one with his flashlight, and me and him went back up. We're actually standing on a little mound right at the edge of the tree line. And I'm standing there filming with my thermal camera. And this is so dark you can't see nothing. And there's he's at least 9 foot tall, and it looks like he's got a deer on his shoulder.
He's probably, go ahead.
He's probably about 20 yards or so in front of me.
That's close.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they get real close to us. But this was at night too, when it was really dark. You couldn't see nothing without a light. And those little white specks there around him, I'm pretty sure those are orbs. You see, I'll circle them. I'm pretty sure those are orbs. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's a deer that he's got on his shoulder. And Mike had actually saw one a few minutes before that too. And I've actually, I was watching Mike with my thermal camera when he walked up in there and he shined his flashlight and he come back and you could see him like looking back and kind of stopping and stooping down and looking back. And he came back kind of quick.
That's something.
And then we went back over there and we were standing there.
Yeah, it's something I mentioned when I was talking to Russell Acord. You know, it was the fact that, you know, when you're in the woods like this, you're in their living room, you're in their home.
Yeah.
And so, you know, to think about, you know, like the sounds, you know, the sound of your home, you know, the sound that your refrigerator makes and your furnace makes and all this kind of stuff. And so they know if you're out there and again, I go back to, if they exist, they're going to know that you're in their house. They're going to know you're there.
Yeah. They know. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. And they're watching us all the time when we go out there. They're watching us.
Right.
Yeah. I catch them like this all the time on thermal camera, on the GoPro, on the camcorder, and you can see them standing there watching us. Yeah. This, I believe, is 2 juveniles. This was during the daytime. See if I can enlarge it a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, so there's 2 darker circles.
I'm pretty sure that's 2 juveniles. Yeah, in the center. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you can see their eyes. Their eyes show up real black.
Oh yeah. Now Tom Burns is asking the question: has Bigfoot ever given you cause to worry about your personal safety? Why don't they threaten you like a deer?
They did one time.
Treat
They
you
hit
like a
me
deer,
with
sorry.
infrasound, or the infrasound. When there was me and Waynette and 2 other people, we were together, and they were hitting me with the infrasound, and it gives you like a feeling of anxiety and dread. And I guess with me being an experienced hunter like I am, I felt like I was fixing to fight a bear, or be fighting a bear, or something like that. I thought something. It makes you feel like something's coming out attacking you, and that's how I felt. And I was standing there thinking, should I draw my gun out and get ready to shoot? And I kept thinking, no, I know what is causing it. I know what it is. And I just kept filming, and I was filming that direction.
Wow. Yeah, I've never had that
Try to catch
experience
them on
like
film.
that before.
But I knew what it was then.
Right.
I had that one time years ago too, when it was after I heard it was following years out in the same area, and I was hit with infrasound like that, and I kept thinking, this is not right. You know, I'd been in the military and I was been hunting all my life, and I kept thinking, this is not right. I'm not scared of anything out here. I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't be feeling this way. And I kept trying to figure out what was causing it, but they were hitting me with the infrasound.
Wow. I don't know what that would be like. Yeah. This is robots asking a question for you, Tim. Florida has the 2nd largest missing person per year, 1,250, only after California. Do you believe some are due to Bigfoot, some of the missing persons? And that goes to the question also that I have, kind of talking about, do you think that they are a threat to humankind on their own? In your own personal
I don't think they are, because they've other than being hit with the infrasound a couple times, they're not aggressive towards us, and they're always close to us and watching us. But I have heard of people thinking that some of the disappearances down in South Florida were due to some of them. And I do think in some areas they are aggressive, but I'm not finding them. We're not finding them aggressive in our area.
Yeah. If anything, I kind of take the stance on that personally, for me anyway, that if you have ill intent, they're going to pick up on that ill intent.
Yeah.
And then you might be in
that could
danger.
have a lot to do with it, probably.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't have ill intent, like me, if I'm out there looking, I would like to have a peaceful encounter. With one. I don't, and Mike has heard me talk a little bit about, even if I would even go to the extent of really reporting it, I would probably tell people, but I don't know that I would actually, I'm not going to give detail or where it was or anything like that, because I don't want that to be, I would know, and that's really all I need to know, is that I would know at that point that the proof was given to me. So again, I go back to this ill intent. If you have ill intent, then you might be in danger at some point.
Yeah, you might be. Yeah,
for sure.
Because I do believe they know our intentions. They know we don't mean them no harm, and I believe like they know I carry a gun, and they know I'm not going to use it against them. I believe they know that.
And I've never felt the infrasound. I've never had that experience.
No.
But I have never, since we've been doing this research, no matter where we have gone, I have never felt threatened. You know, on peaceful watching us.
Yeah, and that
they
one
mean
day
us no harm.
when that was standing there right beside me when they were hitting me with it, and they didn't hit her with it.
Wow.
But I
wow.
Scared out there.
Now, you wouldn't think that they would be able to direct it like that.
Yeah,
to
so
one
they could
person.
direct it right at me. Yeah.
Rather than a general area. Wow. I never thought about
interesting.
that. Yeah. Wow. So Barbara's asking the question, is there any kind of musky smell associated with your outings?
Sometimes, yeah. I've smelled it a couple of times, like a wet dog smell.
I have smelled it.
And then another time, like a real skunky dead.
Yes, I smelled it one time in one of our areas. And it was just in that one area. You couldn't smell it.
No, I couldn't smell that one.
And but it was just this like 6 foot area, and then we went past it, and you couldn't smell it anymore.
Wow.
But I've never smelled something like that before. It was musty.
And it's not all the time. It's only been a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tends to be what I hear too, is that people hear about that smell and they think it's all the time, and it's not. John Green, who did all the research on Bigfoot, he said probably 10% of all of his accounts had the smell.
Yeah.
Wow. Now that's a very interesting picture you brought up right there.
That's the thermal image right there. Back to this one right here. This is me when it's filming me. And right here in the trees and the bushes, you see those dark areas, those real dark areas. That's them right there. I was hearing them walking, following us and getting close. And when I was hearing birds all sounding alarms, they're right a few feet of me. And then right behind me, this one, I caught this one on thermal camera right behind me.
All right, I got to get a little closer to my screen here.
Go ahead, yeah. I'll enlarge it a little bit too. It almost looks kind of like an old Indian shaman type.
It really
I was going to say, that almost looks like a Native American.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, because you can see his head, part of his body.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Well-defined eyes, and you can even see the lips there. And it looks like the hair is kind of like curling around almost on the top there.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, honestly, when I see people's pictures that they're showing, a lot of times, and I'm on one of the websites, and I'm members of quite a few different Bigfoot websites or Facebook pages.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I'm always one of these people that say, if you got to draw a circle around it, that's not good enough for me. I'm sorry, it just isn't. This is well defined. That's an amazing picture. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't like to draw the circles if I don't have to, but sometimes I will to show people where it is.
Right. I mean, you don't have to draw a picture or a circle around that. That's
that's for sure.
Wow, that is amazing.
And I don't know
go ahead.
If his arm is real hairy or if he's wearing a skin around him or something, because it all looks like you can see his bare chest and stomach.
It
looks like his arm is either he's got a skin on him or an animal skin, or either it's real hairy.
Wow. Now, when this is from your which camera did you have? Who had the camera that took this?
I was carrying this one. The thermal camera.
Yeah.
I was carrying this one.
Is that the one you had on the little tripod you're holding in your hand?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He usually does the thermal. And then I use the
she'll film it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you actually see him standing there with your eyes?
No, we didn't see him. No.
A lot of stuff we don't see till we get home and we look at it.
And that's why I think he was either cloaked or either like going in and out of a dimension or something, and we couldn't see him.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really good. I see the people in the chat are saying, great picture. Renee says, and a nose and a chin. I mean, a lot of people are, Native American for sure. Pamela Esper says.
Shadow too. Yeah.
And Brenda's like so close. I mean, it's like this is standing like 10 feet away from you, if not less.
Yeah, the thermal camera, it actually has like a one-time zoom on it.
Yeah.
Where it films a little closer than than like the camcorder.
Right.
So yeah, he's probably 30 yards of me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was close.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Jan was asking Waynette a question. Have you tried to solo? It says, have you tried solo hunting just to see if they might feel like they could become closer to you as opposed to a man?
No. I mean,
Okay.
I have heard different people say that they're drawn to women, like,
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah. But no, that's never happened. When we go out, we always go out together.
Mm-hmm. And Linda brings up a good point too. And I've seen this happen with even tame bear. Well, you call it a bear tame, even with a somewhat tamed bear that somebody would have. And this is asking about the question about a woman that are menstruating. It said there's talk that they would know when a woman is menstruating, and it has let's see, I'm trying to finish. Has Waynette had any womanly based encounters when she is out? So that kind of goes along with that other question about being out by yourself.
Yeah.
But no, I've heard that numerous times from people that they know when that time is there for a woman.
Yeah.
Yep. I've heard of that a lot. Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's when I saw this it was on a show. There was a video clip, and I think it was the bear was next to this woman, and the bear actually, it looked like he was attacking her, but it really didn't. I don't think it was attacking her in that way. It was attacking her in that way.
Right.
But
gotcha.
it was because, and then she admitted later that it was her time. And so that bear knew. So if that bear knows, then if a Bigfoot exists, then it's going to know as well. Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as that, for me, I wouldn't have to worry about that. I don't know if that helps answer a question.
Seth is asking the question. Has either of you ever experienced or received any telepathic messages that you know of? Have you?
I have. It wasn't like a voice or speaking. It just projected a water moccasin and where it was at.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
To warn me to go around it. And take the rest of the group around it and not walk up on it.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like real sharp, clear image of a water moccasin, and exactly where it was in some of the brush.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Now see, there you go. I mean, that's interesting that it would warn you about something.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's another question from Robot. Question for Tim T. More and more sightings reported around here are Dogman. Have you ever seen anything other than Bigfoot cryptids?
Yes, I've got Dogman also on a lot of them on video too. Some pretty good.
There you go, Robot. Yeah. And that's going to be on your YouTube
and also
channel?
Some portals. Yeah. And
okay.
It's on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on there.
And you can actually see the Dogman moving. You can see him open and watching us. And we couldn't see him. We were close enough to him. We couldn't see him with our eyes. Yeah. See him on camera really.
Wow.
Yeah. And he moves out into the open where you can see him. You can see his ears sticking up, everything. Yeah.
All right. I've got to look at your YouTube channel a little closer because I haven't seen that one. I'm going to have to go back through them again.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here? This is a video you've got up.
I want to show this too because this is some of my favorite footage here, and there was a few of us out here this day too, and I started filming. I was actually filming behind me right here, and there's a juvenile right here behind the tree. I caught him, and then coming up here too, you'll see some more. if you watch where that red circle was back there in the
Yeah.
trees, and then I'm going to zoom in. I'm filming this with my camcorder back there between the trees. There's 3 of them. There are a red one and 2 black ones. And you'll be able to see them move and change positions a little.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little. It's a little stuttery for us, but I think we're getting the gist of it here.
Okay. And I've actually slowed this down a little, so that could be part of it.
Yeah, it slowed down.
Yeah, slow down a little so you can see them in the different positions. And then right here, this is our friend Joey, Florida Lone Wolf. We've worked with him some.
Uh-huh.
They're standing right out there in front of him. He can't see him either. He never saw him with his eyes either, neither did I. But you can see how close they are to him. They're right there in the trees, right there in front of him. And then I got a couple of good screenshots of them too coming up. But I like this too because I'm not having to circle them. People can see them and see how clear they are.
Yeah, I'm looking at it looks like a head looking around a tree right in the dead center. And then that one over there, I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah, and then these are my zoomed in screenshots here.
Wow.
Yeah, and these I believe are the Bigfoot. And the red one, there's a red one there standing in front. I believe I've got some of his hairs where I took him off a barbed wire fence where he has stepped over the fence. Because when I looked at him, I had to pull him up, like straight up off the barbed wire, where he had stepped over and came down. As he came down, they caught the hairs. Because I collect a lot of hairs too, all the animals around here.
Now, have you had any of them tested?
I haven't had them tested, no, because they're just real expensive.
Yeah,
but I look at them. I do look at them with my own microscope. Yeah, and I've got some videos of that too, where I'm looking at them with the microscope. Plus,
now, Go ahead.
I have some that are clear and green colors, and there's no animals around here that are green color like that.
And you know, and again, Mike and I have talked about this before with some of the hair samples and the fact that they don't have that medulla.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you're finding that same thing. They don't have that in there.
Well, actually, my microscope that I have, it like zooms in down onto it, like shows it up real close. Like a lot more powerful than like a magnifying glass.
Right.
So it don't actually feel or not. You're just looking at it magnified. You're not like looking through it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. But the Bigfoot hairs that I found that I believe are Bigfoot, they look just like our human hairs, except they're a lot thicker.
Wow.
Just looking at them magnified like that, they're a lot thicker than ours. That was all the pictures that I had for the.
All right. Brenda mentioned, Tim, you make it sound like it's fun to go on a hunt. I think it is, personally. I had, when I went out.
I looked at that one too.
When I went out, you said this was the last of the pictures?
Yeah, that was the last of them.
Okay, I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring us back up here on.
Cool.
Yeah, honestly, Brenda, and I'm going to say yes to that answer that question for me anyway, because I had a great time. I learned a ton of information that I didn't know before, and I've seen when I was out there, and I'm going to ask you about this because we saw only that one picture of the tree branch. It was hanging kind of balanced there.
Yeah.
But the tree structures, now that's something that I thought, okay, maybe, and I'm watching this on TV and other people's videos, I'm thinking, without seeing it right there in front of me, I'm thinking, okay, I mean, maybe the branches just fell that way or something, and it's just a coincidence or whatever. But when you see them out there in the field, you get a whole different perspective of that particular structure. Yeah. And it changed my opinion on that. There was one that I saw when I was out with Mike. And it was the actual structure was actually under a canopy. It was about maybe 12 feet high or a little less than 12 feet high, maybe 10 of a canopy, branches and leaf underneath or over top of it. So there was no way the branches would have fallen and landed in this particular pattern that they were laying, because they couldn't have. because of the canopy above it.
Yeah. Yep. It would have stopped.
I don't know. Tell me a little bit about your tree structures that you've seen.
Well, we see stuff like that. We've actually found branches that look like an asterisk, and those we've been finding near creeks or rivers.
Wow.
Like markers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times too, we'll find cypress trees that are bent over and bent. And usually every time we find a cypress tree like that where they're bent over like that, is where we're headed. Mm-hmm. Like in the areas that I was showing you where all the footprints and the tree structure. And then we have a lot of places like that too in there where you find the cypress trees that are bent over. Mm-hmm. And then you have all the activity and catch them on film and stuff.
Now that structure you mentioned about that looking like an asterisk, what do you think? Do you have any idea what you think that might mean?
I'm wondering if it's marking the waterways. Maybe it's marking the water.
That's interesting. Yeah,
probably the flowing water is what it would be marking. The water that's moving, and not just sitting still.
Right.
Yeah, because maybe they can drink the water that's flowing. As long as it's flowing and got a stream, they can drink it. Yeah.
Right. Rather than stagnant water. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you know about? I mean, with your talking about them making a particular symbol or a sign. I mean, you've come across that as well in your research, right?
Right. Yeah, it's pretty common. There's a lot of different theories on what they are. I think there's more. There's the structures are a little bit more maybe confusing. They're not exactly sure what that is. The breaks, the tree breaks, the direction the tree breaks, there's some theories on, that you're not supposed to go certain directions when it's broken a certain way, that type of stuff. But tree structures, the theories are so wide and ranging, it's hard to say, but they're so commonly seen, and the ones that are too complex and physically can't have happened naturally. If they had to have been created. Mm-hmm. So, that's common throughout.
Yeah, you find stuff in together that can't just fall naturally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stuff under tension.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to mention. And you see some pictures of them where it's a smaller tree, maybe about the big around is a quarter or size in diameter, maybe a 50-cent piece. But they're bent down and hooked underneath the branch of another tree, which that's not going to happen like that naturally. Yeah. It's not going to happen from a storm, isn't going to push it like that. So why is it bent like that and hooked underneath another branch? It's just, I don't know. And is it some sort of a sign? There's another question for you there. I understand Bigfoot have hair for here in North Canada. Why does Bigfoot have such hair in the Florida heat? Does Bigfoot have the ability to adjust its environment?
I think they do adjust to the environment. I think they use like here where we're at around the Green Swamp, we actually have a aquifer underneath Florida. And I think they can use the caves and go down into the aquifer, because I know there's a lot of caves down there. And I think they can go down in there, and also in some of the swampy areas where it gets real thick, when you get in there, you can feel the temperature drop. And I think that they use that a lot too and adjust to those areas.
Right. Yeah. Do you think that they have, now this is something I was told before with the out there is, the animals would be smaller. That's, you were talking about the smaller footprints that you're finding. And it was kind of related to me that maybe because of the heat, because of the environment, they don't get quite as big as they would like in the Pacific Northwest or something like that. Do you find that to be true as well?
No, I don't. No, I think they get just as big. Yeah.
Okay.
There's been some here reported that like 9 foot, 10 foot tall or bigger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's one they call Big Red that's been sighted several times around the Green Swamp. They call him Big Red. And the hunter that seen him up close, he said Big Red made Arnold Schwarzenegger look like a kid. And then he recently told me about a white one that was seen that was even bigger than the Big Red one.
Wow.
Now that story is on his YouTube as well. We went out with this hunter. He was showing us.
He took us
where
to show
he saw
everything.
That's a good one to watch.
It is, yeah.
Listen to his story.
and we were actually working with another member too, Chris Connor from the Trail to Bigfoot. Another researcher. We were working with him on that as well too. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Okay, we're going to start to wrap it up here because I want to, make sure we're cut off here by about 9 o'clock. But I wanted to ask you a little bit. You guys just had a Bigfoot convention out there, and I wasn't able. I was told about it. They said, "Oh, you need to stay," and I just couldn't. I couldn't stay that long. How was that? I mean, who all was there for that, and what was the name of it?
It was really interesting. It's called the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference. Great Florida Bigfoot
and this was
Conference.
the third one
that
we've had in Florida.
The first two they did in Lakeland, Florida. This one they did in Ocala. Yes, and it was really good. Some friends of ours got up and spoke first because they're a group in Ocala, and they were able to get up and do a presentation and show a lot of what they've been finding. And then you had the speakers got up there and spoke. Ronnie LeBlanc, he got up there and spoke. They had Dr. Jeff Meldrum, he got up there and spoke.
Yep.
And, Ron Moorhead and David Pilates, they were there and got up there and spoke. Yeah, and then they were selling their books and stuff, and we got to meet all of them, so that was pretty cool.
And this was the biggest audience that they've had. This is the third one, and they had I forget how many people.
I think they said there was like 2,200 people there.
So that was the biggest one.
It was pretty big, yeah. A lot of vendors selling all kinds of Bigfoot stuff.
Oh yeah, they got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff, shirts and stuffed animals and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, books and.
Yeah, I was at Phenomenon out in Vernal, Utah last year, and I'm going back again this year. That's where I got to meet Russell Acord and Ronnie LeBlanc and Dr. Mariah Mayer. Matter of fact, and I've said this before on the air, but this is where I had Mike Owen put me up to it to go and talk to those people and really listen to them when they got up and spoke. Yeah. And that's and Jeff Meldrum. Now, I didn't catch Jeff's speaking engagement. There was something else going on that I went and watched instead of, and I hate that because now I missed it. I'm definitely going to catch him. He's going to be back there this year, and I definitely want to hear him. I did get a chance to talk to him a little bit in his booth because they all have booths there too that you can come up and you can fight your way through all the other people that want to talk to him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they had long lines of people.
Yeah, they had long lines. They sure did. You know, you had to stand in line, but I got to talk to him a little bit offside because I was part of the media, so I was able to actually sit down and talk to him a little bit. But interesting stuff, and that's where I really gained a respect for like Dr. Maria Mayer. You know, her and her background. Oh my gosh, I mean, just blew me away. And that's when I realized, listening to their presentations, that's when I realized, man, I've got to look in. Oh, there you go. We were the speakers. They're coming up.
Yeah, they were the first ones up to speak.
They did a phenomenal job too when they showed all their stuff and their research.
And they've caught a lot of stuff like we do out there in Ocala and Goethe Forest, and they've come here to Greenstone, and they keep the audio like we do, all the footprints and stuff like that, all the tree structures. They get a lot more tree structures in Ocala than we do here.
Yep. What's your names, folks? The Bigfoot World Cryptids and Paranormal Central. You got to tell me what your names were, so because I'd like to reach out to you. I was just going to say, please reach out to me if you can. JFree906@gmail.com. It's down in the description below, so you can reach out to me. Yeah, I'd really like to talk to you guys too, because this, and again, like I said earlier, this is why I do this, because I'm gathering research. I don't have anything that I could say. I mentioned this before, that I have never experienced anything that I could say, oh, gee, I think that was a Bigfoot. But like you said, Tim, you said something that really made me start to think about my past. You said you were out hunting. Yeah. And you heard and saw things or whatever that you, before you ever had any inkling to think about Bigfoot.
Yeah, never
and
thought
I
about
thought
it.
Maybe I have too. I mean, that is possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, possible.
And the more you learn, then all of a sudden, one day, all of a sudden, something clicks. We're like, hey, when that happened back then, now I know what it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of those retroactive encounters where you have an encounter, but it doesn't make any sense, and you blow it off. And then later on, you get more information, and suddenly it clicks, and you're like, oh man, that was those acorns getting thrown at me in the woods, that wasn't a squirrel.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. When you realize like a stick being thrown at you or a rock being thrown at you, you realize it had to have a hand and a thumb to do that.
That's true.
Yeah. That's some of the stuff that, like your first growl, Tim. Yeah, that's what Brenda's just mentioned. Like your first growl, something like that. You'll have to really think about this because who's to say? I did a lot of hunting and stuff in the past. I don't hunt anymore. Now I hunt with a camera. And a thermal imaging camera and night vision camera. That's what I hunt with nowadays, rather than any kind of a, I do have a carry permit, but I'm not out hunting animals. But yeah, so that's what it's all about. Man, that's really, really interesting, man. I got to tell you, Tim and Waynette, you two, what experiences you've had, folks. You have to check out this, and I'm going to go and I'm going to really sit down and spend more time watching more of your videos that you have here, because I tell you, this is you've got some stuff there that I like that one video that you showed us here. It was really choppy. I want to be able to watch that, on my
you can see the full. Yeah, that was just a little of the video. You can see the full video on my channel.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I just want to say that I appreciate you guys doing this stuff too, because like I said, my sister makes fun of me. She says you're a very brave armchair researcher, because I live in Iowa. There's nowhere to go. So I listen to podcasts and listen to experiences and read books and things like that, and that's the best that I can do for now. So I appreciate getting to hear the stuff that you guys get to see and do in those experiences firsthand.
Yep. Well, Mike, you know what? When I'm down in Florida later toward in the fall, when I head back south because I'm a snowbird now, I don't want to be up here where I'm at when the snow is like this deep. I'm going south.
Yeah,
you got to come down and pay a visit, and we'll go out with Tim.
I heard there's things in Florida that want to kill you, though.
There is, yes.
I don't have that problem in Iowa.
Well, we stepped on a. Well, I didn't step on it. A rattlesnake when we were walking in that day. So Mike Aguilar actually stepped on it.
Oh,
he did.
Yeah, and it didn't strike anybody. It was amazing. It was scared to death, and I have that little video of that I got on my YouTube channel. But man, that was so. Yes, there are things that will kill you.
Yeah,
the alligators.
I've had a rattlesnake in the real tall grass right next to me rattling, and you can't see him at all because of the grass. Yeah.
Wear your snake boots when you come down back down.
Yeah,
I bought snake boots. I was wearing them when I went out. Yeah, absolutely.
We wear them every single time we go out.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Plus, with them being waterproof, you can get in some of the water and
mine are too. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Wow. Well, this has been fantastic, guys. I really, really appreciate this, and I would love to have you come back on another time. Mike and I, like I said, Mike got me started down this road of researching into Bigfoot, and I tell you, the thing that I've said this before, but the thing that I gather from all of this is that even though I have not had my own experiences in any way, shape, or form that I could say was an experience of any kind of like thing with a Bigfoot, there are too many credible people like yourselves out there that have had experiences. And you just can't. And then you look at then you get into the whole indigenous peoples and the Native Americans and all that have the history that goes back so far back, hundreds of years back or more. You can't just dismiss all of that. No, you can't just throw it out the window and say it's all a bunch of malarkey.
And thousands of people seeing them and seeing them across the road and seeing them right out in front of them, and then they're scared to go in the woods because of it.
When you're riding down the road, or
I know, and that's it exactly. Fantastic guest. Yeah, that was Linda. Fantastic guest this evening. Thank you, Tim and Waynette, for coming on and sharing your knowledge. Sure.
Thank you, Jeff and Mike.
Really appreciate it.
Yes, and thanks everybody for watching and for having us. Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, no problem. I will, when I'm done here, I will get this wrapped up and I'll get it linked over. If you don't mind, we'll put it on your YouTube, I'm sorry, not on your YouTube, but on your Facebook page, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And then you're welcome to share it all you want, get it out there, because I tell you,
Yeah.
This is another, Eva said it right there. Eva, I met out at Phenomicon, and Eva said it right there. Another great podcast, and it's because of the guests that I get and the information and the co-host like Mike Owen, of course, to come on and share with me. So thank you very much, folks. I really appreciate it. I'm going to wrap it up, folks. Thank you for being here with us tonight. This will be out on YouTube. You can check it out. And we will have them back, and I hope, like I said, that when I get down to Florida next time, I need to get out in the swamp with these two right here.
Yeah, we definitely want to take you out. Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, we have some real good areas.
And Mike, save your vacation time because I want you to come down and go with us.
Yeah,
sounds good.
All right, thank you very much, people, for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it very much. Don't forget, tomorrow night we are going to be going to Skinwalker Ranch. We're going to be talking Skinwalker Ranch, episode number 3 or 2. 2, I think it was. It was just happened last Tuesday night. We're going to be going through that and dissecting that show very, very closely. That's tomorrow night at 7:30. So thanks again for everybody being here tonight. We'll catch you. Hang out just a minute, Tim and Waynette.
Yeah,
we'll catch you next time right here on the JFree906 podcast. Good night, everyone.